So back when I was an emotionally unstable teenager, I watched this film and thought that maybe I was special and would one day unlock magical powers to get back at all the popular kids who were assholes to me. But the only spirits that entered my body to fight my demons was Tito's vodka. Hello my frightful friends, welcome back to my channel. Let's get into it, shall we? The movie starts with three of our main characters, bummed out Bonnie, negative Nancy, and Rochelle, trying to cast a spell to make their bag of weed more potent. Cut to our fourth main gal, sad Sarah, who's moving to LA because the housing market hasn't gone to shit yet. At their new house, Sarah gets upset that her mom passed away, then goes downstairs to unpack when a local hobo wanders in to welcome her to Hollywood and shows off his snake, Mr. Pubert. But Sarah doesn't want to meet Mr. Pubert. Luckily, her dad comes in just in time and screams at the hobo to bounce before he crams a crowbar up his unwashed ass. Cut to Sarah going to her new Catholic school. Her daddy says just stay home and watch TV, but she says, "Oh my god, stop ruining my life, you widowed weirdo," and leaves. And I call bullshit, cause only in the movies does a kid pass on staying home and doing absolutely nothing. In school, Bonnie says that their force is coming. In class, she sees Sarah balancing her pencil, confirming that Sarah is a fellow sorcery sister. So next class, Bonnie rushes over to her buddies and says, "Who's ready to cast some spells, my witches?" Cause our final member has arrived. So of course, negative Nancy ruins the vibes and sends Sarah away. At lunch, she meets the coolest guy in town, Creepy Chris, who starts flirting up a storm, but they turn their attention to the black parade party in the corner. Chris calls them a crackhead coven who gave him genital warts in the 2nd grade, so she should stay away from the emo gang, and invites Sarah to watch him throw around some balls after school. Cut to that, and while she stands there wasting her time, Nancy says, "Walk with us, loser. We're going 5-finger shopping." The gang goes into a store that's definitely burning up other herbs besides patchouli. The three girls start stealing, while Sarah gets hounded by the store owner hippie who calls her a dummy for not knowing that the colors of candles mean something. They leave, and even though it's 4 p.m., the pollution in the air makes Hollywood the middle of the night. Sarah walks by the hobo from earlier. He chases after her by walking into the middle of the road. The girls watch as a car turns him into a strawberry pancake, then proceed to have a great time frolicking in a field, laughing, saying they magically committed murder together. But like Sarah, I would also be skeptical, cause 99% of LA drivers be like,
"Boy, they came out of nowhere."
The girls talk about God, the devil, and which ex they're going to hex first, but Sarah says deuces cause they are freaking her out. She goes to a rooftop to hang out with Creepy Chris, who wants to go back to his house, but Sarah says nah. The next day, he tells everyone that she is a freak that's bad in the sheets. Sarah confronts Chris, but he doesn't give a shit. Cut to Rochelle, who's getting bullied, which is not funny, by Marcy.
Look, there is a pubic hair in my brush. Oh, no, wait. That's just one of Rochelle's little hairs.
That's so racist.
This 90s film about magical teenage witches has time to remind the audience that the real monster is a high schooler with a bad bleach job. Bonnie gets poked with some needles to get rid of some scars. Sarah's time of the month is hitting really hard, while Nancy goes home to her alcoholic parents fighting. Cut to the gang going on a little trip, and we get this iconic clip.
Girls, watch out for those weirdos.
We are the weirdos, mister.
In the woods, the girls are having a fun time, making out, drinking blood, but I can't judge because this was a regular Tuesday in my teen years. They all start talking about what they want. Rochelle wants to be accepted by everyone. Bonnie wants to be beautiful. Sarah wants Creepy Chris to like her. And Nancy wants power. Then all of a sudden, a bunch of butterflies fly around them. It's a nice moment before shit hits the fan. To skip a bit, Sarah's wish comes true, and Chris starts liking her. The girls make Rochelle levitate, then her wish comes true, and Marcy's extension starts falling out. Then Bonnie's wish comes true when her skin is now cured. Bonnie comes to class showing off her new self, but if it was me, I'd be walking in with just some nipple pasties and a song after spending half my life getting tortured with painful acupuncture. Nancy's upset because her wish hasn't happened yet, but later that night, her parents get into a fight, and she says, "Yo, stepdad, drop dead." And he does. And guess what? His life insurance is a shit ton of money. So Nancy and her mom get an apartment and start living the good life. The gang comes over and has fun changing their hair color and making their boobs bigger. Later that night, Chris stops by Sarah's house and says, "Can we please actually have sex? I'm in love with you, babe. You're the only one for me, babe." But Dad sends him away. The next day, the girls stop by the hippie store. Sarah asks, "How do you reverse a love spell?" The hippie says, "I've been doing magic for years." So my answer is, who the hell knows? Gee, thanks for nothing. But she does say that whatever you put out, it will come back around ×3, aka make good choices cause karma is a bitch. Meanwhile, Nancy wants to buy a book about invoking powerful spirits. Miss Hippie says you need to be experienced. Nancy says, "Cut the crap, I'm a big girl," while wearing her finest candy choker. Cut to them on a beach and conjuring up some crazy stuff, while Sarah poses like a bug who's been smashed onto a windshield. Jars with animals inside break, lights flash, and Nancy turns into Jesus walking on water, while SeaWorld employees gather marine creatures that washed up on the nearby shore. Sarah starts having doubts, while Nancy starts tripping balls. While driving around, Sarah says, "Guys, the real magic is the friendship we've made along the way. So, why don't we just take a break, But the three bitcheteers says hell to that, then have the audacity to ask, "Are you in or out of the band?" knowing full well that Sarah is the only reason the band exists. But she stays, and Nancy celebrates by almost killing the gang, or another snake-wielding hobo. Rochelle also starts resyncing her spell after seeing Marcy looking like a peeled potato sitting on the floor crying. Chris asks Sarah out to dinner, and while chilling, he goes cuckoo banana nut crazy, so she runs to her buddy's house. The Sisters of the Traveling Potions come together wondering how to get back at Chris. Sarah says let's do absolutely nothing, but Nancy dashes to a party where he's at, ready to abracadabra his ass. Chris follows her upstairs thinking maybe Sarah's also up there. In a room, Nancy starts trying to make out, but Chris shuts her down, so she uses magic to transform into Sarah, making Chris think that maybe mixing coke and crack together was a bad idea. Outside, the other three finally arrive, like they really took a shit ton of time getting there. Sarah barges into the room, causing Nancy to reveal herself. Chris starts talking shit, which is a bold choice after seeing Sarah turn back into Winifred, right in front of his eyes, confirming that magic is real. The sugar acid-covered cube Nancy took earlier starts kicking in, but most of all, she's pissed and uses her powers to push Chris out the window. And sure, he was under a spell, but he was still a dick. But did he deserve this? Let me know down below in the comments. But Sarah, who's upset, says even though he was a douche, he didn't deserve to die, and binds Nancy from causing harm to anybody. That night, she has a nightmare of her sorcery sisters trying to strangle her to death. At school, Sarah goes number 2, but the gang busts in and says, "Hey, where you been?" But she says, "I don't want to be in your first-degree manslaughter magic troupe no more." And they say, "Sure thing, pal, but now you have to leave town, or we'll hunt you down and burn you up like the good old Salem days." Then leave with Bonnie asking, "How have you been sleeping, huh?" Sarah heads over to the hippie's place, yelling that she's been a real jerk, but now her lunatic friends are trying to kill her and needs help. So the hippie takes her behind a curtain and shows Sarah that she also has mystical powers. The hippie makes Sarah invoke some powerful spirit, causing her posture to become all whack, are you good? Shit. But some creepy things happen, and Sarah decides the best thing to do is leave, and the hippie waits till she's out the goddamn door to scream at her to stop. Sarah goes home, and real quick, I live not too far from LA, and no shit, it's a pretty big place, but this movie acts like everything is just one street away from wherever you want to go, okay? I'm just saying. Inside, her dad and stepmom are nowhere to be found. The phone rings, and it's Nancy, saying they died due to a plane crash, causing Sarah to snap, but she has no time for that, cause snakes and rats start appearing all around her. Sarah locks herself in a bathtub, yelling for all of this to stop. Nancy says, "Gotcha, bitch," then runs away. Downstairs, the three girls starts levitating while saying, "You killed Chris, ya mommy, and now you're gonna do something that I can't joke about." Sarah runs away, lays on the floor, and becomes a badass bitch. Bonnie and Rochelle go upstairs only to see that their spells are coming back ×3 and skedaddle off the property, leaving only Nancy, who goes after Sarah but finds nothing. Only for Sarah to come out of a mirror, and if I was her, I would have just stayed safe in there. But she's not fucking around anymore, guys, and makes a bunch of critters come out of Nancy, who falls to the ground screaming.
Oh, relax.
Relax, it's only magic.
Nancy does a complete 180, saying she's sorry and that she's getting the hell out of Dodge, showing us that bullies act tough, but when shit gets rough for them, they crumble like an overbaked cookie. Sarah says, "Not so fast, bitch," and again starts binding Nancy from doing bad things to anybody, causing her to become even more crazy. She attacks Sarah with a knife, then gives the final blow by making a desk hit her ass. But after that, Nancy only finds her clothes, and is about to stab them when Sarah reappears and throws Nancy into a mirror, which gives her time to finish her binding spell. A few months later, Sarah's outside, and surprise, her folks didn't actually die. Bonnie and Rochelle stop by and ask Sarah if she can still do magical things, cause they can. Sarah says nah, and they leave talking some shit, so she shows them not to mess with this witch by making a tree almost hit him.
Be careful. You don't end up like Nancy.
Who's in an asylum screaming that she can fly and make people die, ruining her chances from getting out anytime soon. Please subscribe if you liked this video. Have a wonderful day or night. That's it. Goodbye.